Big day of trades thus far. We've got Shane Baz going to the Baltimore Orioles for $1 million prospects. We have got Brandon Lowe going to the Pittsburgh Pirates, Mason Montgomery, along with Jake Mangum as well. We've got the Astros getting Mike Burrows in the Rays, getting more prospects. This is an interesting day, a lot of moves. Before we talk about all of them, make sure you guys do subscribe to the Windup so you don't miss out on any of the baseball content coming at you. All right, James, initial reaction. Shane Baz trade, what are you thinking?
Initial reactions, I don't know how good Shane Baz is anymore, right? Like Shane Baz was like the pitching prospect 3 or 4 years ago. There's been crazy arm injuries. Last year was very inconsistent. Stuff-wise, even more inconsistent than had been in the past. I think that's the biggest fear for me with Shane Baz. Like I don't care so much about the high ERA, but the fact that the fastball didn't miss as many bats, the breaking balls didn't have as much bite. It was less. And then the fact that a pitching starved team like the Orioles traded, because this Orioles farm system is not what it used to be. All the big-time Orioles farm system prospects have graduated. They basically traded their entire good lower tier of prospects to go get Shane Baz, who, again, I don't know exactly what he is right now.
Do you not think that part of this also had to do with playing in Tampa last year in that weird ballpark? Like
Definitely part of it.
He still throws 97, still struck out like 25% of the batters he faced. He walked a few more guys than you'd like. Still above league average in getting ground balls. I don't know. What's like the actual reason for it? Is there something with the stuff that's fallen off that makes you not a believer? Because without looking at the package that they
it's not
gave
that I'm
back,
not a believer, but yeah.
Without looking at the package that they gave back, like I do objectively like the Orioles going out and getting Shane Baz. We make fun of them in our free agent predictions video about like you're gonna pitch Cade Povich again, you're gonna give Dean Kramer big innings, like especially because we talk about the Burrows trade a little bit later. We recorded that one before this, and it's just gonna kind of be pieced into this, so we have one big video, but. Shane Baz feels like a more sexy version of Mike Burrows.
I mean, no shit, but Shane Baz was basically considered the top pitching also a Pirates prospect. It's easy to forget a Pirates draft pick, but
True.
When Shane Baz
Chris Archer trade, right?
Yeah, Chris Archer, Tyler Glass. No, was he Glass now?
Yeah, it was Chris Archer, Tyler Glasnow. Yeah.
I think those were different trades, weren't they?
No, those are the same.
Oh, they're the same trades. Yeah, Jesus Christ, those were the same trades. But when Baz popped on the scene, the big thing is that he had the fastball that sat 97, but with elite shape. Yeah, he had the hop and the rise in that fastball. It jumped out of his hand. Since he came back from his injury, that was kind of a weird recovery process. Like it just hasn't been the same life on that fastball. Without the same life on that fastball, it's a lot more pressure on his breaking balls, and he still has a good cutter, a good knuckle curveball, and he still throws a changeup. It's not the same kind of crazy panache that Shane Baz once had. I think he's still a good pitcher, but I think that we shouldn't be thinking about Shane Baz, the mega prospect. We should be thinking about Shane Baz, the flawed pitcher in his mid-20s, who could still figure out how to get back to like near top rotation kind of guy, but I think it's a bit of more of a work in progress than it once was considered to be.
Yeah, I wonder where the misunderstanding is going to be in this one with the baseball world, because do we value Shane Baz too much, or do we value the prospects that they gave up too much? Because both sides of this, it feels like kind of interesting, because if you think Baz is still one of those top pitching guys, he's 26 years old now, so we're not going to call him a prospect, but if you think he's one of these top possible pitching arms again in the future, for the Orioles, you'd be like, those aren't any of our top prospects. Like, we're okay moving those guys. But then if you think maybe more so in the boat that Shane Baz is more of this back-end starter now, what's the true actual ceiling with him? He doesn't have the hype anymore. You'd be like, whoa, the Orioles just gave up a ton for Shane Baz. And maybe that's just what it is. Maybe this is both sides. Maybe it's just a big trade.
I think it's just a big trade. And again, like let's not discount what the Orioles gave up. They basically traded 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, because they traded last year's 30th overall pick in Caden Bodine, a catcher. They traded Slater DeBrun, who was a projected first-round pick, went a little bit later, but still technically in the first round, I think at pick 37. Yeah. And then their competitive balance pick for next year's draft, which people always forget you can trade those picks.
Yeah, and the competitive balance picks is because in the MLB deemed in the last or 2 CBAs ago that if you're in the bottom, I think 15 and they basically split the league in like the rich teams and the poor teams. And if you were considered one of the poor teams, every year you either get a competitive balance A pick or a competitive balance B pick. A is right after the first round. B is right after, I think, the second or the fourth. And if you get B, you get a good amount of international slot pool money. And if you get the A, you get still some slot pool money, but a little bit less. So it's funny that, again, like the poor teams have those. But it doesn't feel like a ton. It also doesn't feel like nothing. And Shane Baz feels like a guy with a really wide range of outcomes still.
Yes, but for the Orioles, kind of need a guy. It's just interesting that they went the route of giving up a ton of assets. to go get their guy, which means they've got to believe that there's more there. They've got to believe that maybe they think this could be a future frontline guy again.
No, definitely. But we have. It's just been years since he recovered from the injury, and when he recovered from the injury, it took longer than people expected. The velocity was down, and the velocity came back up. It was really wonky for a while there with Shane Baz, and last year he was there. All right, nice, full season, coming in fully healthy. Everyone was kind of ready, maybe wrongfully, for the Shane Baz pop off, and then just it never came. Like, there were some bad games. Again, a lot of that was the ballpark in Tampa, basically the worst place to pitch in the league. There's a lot of reporting too. I talked about this on Mets Up a few months ago. Maybe I talked about it here. I can't remember. That the wind there was so significant, it really affected pitch movement. I think that's like a new frontier of baseball, understanding how the wind affects individual pitches. But it's still, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird to see Shane Baz go for what I still think is a really big prospect package.
Yeah, like, it just might not be top end prospects. I think that's what it is. It's just it's a gluttony of like just guys that are probably gonna all hopefully be major leaguers. Because when you look at the prospects that the Orioles gave up, so the Michael Forret guy, again, these are not names. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm familiar with him, or the Austin Overn guy that got traded. Not names that were on my radar, but just like quickly looking at his Baseball Reference, quickly looking at the stuff that he has. Throws in the mid-90s. Last year as a 21-year-old, got up to Double-A. He doesn't turn 22 until April 6th of next season. He's a young guy who had a lot of success and got to the next level, and in a small sample, looked really good. Like, it was only 74 innings in total last year for him, but a sub-1 whip is fantastic. An ERA that starts with 1 is fantastic. Struck out 91 of the 282 batters he faced. Feels like there's at least something there. And then with the Overn guy, again, just a quick little looking at their stats, steals a ton of bags. Looks to be uber athletic. I think he stole like 60 bases last year.
Yeah, I like Forret too, because Forret, you see at least mid-90s velocity, and then you also have 2 distinct slider shapes. You have a gyro, you have a sweeper, you have a changeup. It just seems like a starting pitcher that's likely to at least convert to being a mid to back end guy, and then you probably see what you get otherwise. And DeBruyne, he looks like a kind of freak.
He is like a lot of like the smaller punchy guys. Like he's definitely a like toolsy person more than like what you think a ceiling could really be for him. Also, I think there's a weird twist here. I believe he like makes music and like is like a country singer or something. He makes some sort of music. I'm not even kidding. Slayer DeBruyne has like a different name where he makes music. I'll find it out while you talk about him a little bit more.
No, I mean, what you're saying is true. I mean, you're definitely the draft guy, but you see someone who looks like they can stick in center field as a left-handed bat that low in the minor leagues. He hasn't played professionally yet, too, so it's a big ball of clay there. I mean, the guy got $4 million signing bonus out of high school. Like that, again, he wasn't taken in the first round, but like that's a first-round bonus. And again, you see a left-handed bat with a center field defense.
Ready for his musician/music producer name?
Yeah.
Lil Slay with 3 Ys.
Does that move him up or down your board?
That's a hard name. That's a tough name. I would have preferred not 3 Ys on Lil Slay. Like if you're, because I'm sure Slay. That's where he's getting it. It's the extra definitely. 2 Ys on top of it that you're losing me right now. But this is Gen Z. This is the youths.
What do you know about Bodine, the
catcher? Catcher, like defensive first catcher. I think he had like some pretty decent success at the plate at Coastal Carolina, but I don't think he is projected to be much more than like he's going to be a major league catcher. It seems like, but I at least remember from looking at him, I wasn't thrilled with what it looked like at the plate. Just not like a power guy. He's going to be like very, very, what's the right word? He has like good plate discipline. He walks. He walks a ton.
Patient?
Yeah, he's patient. Puts the ball in play. Good walks. I don't know what the exit velos are going to look like. I don't know what the power potential is. But I guess for a catcher, like you're pretty happy with that.
Austin Overn also is a 70 speed grade on Fangraphs. It's just he seems like definitely the least notable player in this package, but it just seems very like maybe he could be the next Jake Mangum.
Caden Bodine, also a Jersey guy, Mount Holly, New Jersey.
Well, kind of like that. This is a crazy day for the Rays. I think
they just got rid of a lot of guys,
and it feels like this might be a prelude to get rid of more. Like this may be opening the door to get rid of Yandy Diaz finally. Like who knows what happens with a guy like Drew Rasmussen. Like it feels like now everything's on the table. The Shane Baz and Ryan Pepio package was rumored for Ketel Marte last week. Like I think right now there's a big sign on the Rays' door and it says open for business. Like
they're looking to move. There might be more trades today. I hope like they at least make this happen on like Sunday or something. We got enough videos on the Windup today. We don't need to add to this one to make it a 40-minute video.
And we have more Rays talk coming at the end. Of course, that's going to come in when we stitch these videos together. We'll like add the context here. Orioles perspective, this feels like a big push the chips in move for them. This has to feel
You
like
know what it feels like?
what?
Feels like a team who won like 70-something games last year was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
That can't happen again.
No, but still, you're getting a big unknown for trading a lot of, again, the best parts of the bottom tier of your farm system. Three first-round picks right here. That's a lot of what that lower minors was. I'm sure they're very confident in what they could build with their lower minors. I know the Orioles are very confident in how they build up their international free agents, especially. And you still have a big trade chip for another starting pitcher, which I still think they need another starting pitcher in Kobe Mayo, who doesn't really have a spot in this team anymore. But like Kyle Brathers, Shane Baz, Trevor Rogers, top 3 in rotation. That's still
Risky.
That's still the 4th. That's still probably last in the AL East.
You think it's worse than the Rays?
I think he still might be worse than the Rays rotation, even without Shane Baz.
No, I know without Shane Baz. Yeah, I guess, the Rays just really just depend if McClanahan can ever pitch.
Yeah, true, but even without him, I still like the Pepio Rasmussen at the top, and I'm a big Joe Boyle guy, always have been, always will be. It's just
Are the Rays Joe Boyle guys? They don't even pitch him.
Last year they had too many good pitchers last year.
It's interesting.
They're
definitely at the best 4th in the division.
Yes, at best 4th in their own division. So there's still more moves to be done here for the Orioles, and I like the aggressiveness. I think more teams should be showing this aggressiveness. Like, they were the only place willing to go 5 years for Pete Alonso. They got rid of Grayson Rodriguez, who's kind of funny now thinking back about this, like trading Grayson Rodriguez and acquiring Shane Baz. I know they're not the same, but like they were at one time kind of kindred spirits.
Feels like that's just a health play. Has to be a health thing. They're like, he threw 160 innings last year.
He did. Like, I think Shane Baz might have gotten over the health hump. So I think there's good confidence there. It's just the aggressiveness is cool.
Yes, it's very cool. And
I want to see more teams acting this way.
And we are going to talk more about aggressiveness as we cut in what we recorded about 30 minutes ago from this. So let's talk about the Pirates and Rays and Astros trade. Shout out aggressiveness. Kind of a big trade. Pirates actually go out and get some good players. Astros get a pitcher. Rays do what the Rays do. It never makes a ton of sense, but it always does at the same time. Brandon Lowe, Mason Montgomery, and Jake Mangum trade to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Astros get Mike Burrows, and the Rays get Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito. There technically might be more to this. It's still coming out as we are recording, but those are the names being mentioned right now. In a 3-team trade, this is when the MLB offseason is the best, when me and James can talk to you about some really, really intricate, small, minutia trades that might end up being the difference for some of these teams. Before we do get going into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Windup. Appreciate the amazing support you guys have been showing on all the videos. We got some big stuff coming for you guys later on this week. But James, an initial reaction, instant thoughts. What do you got?
Instant thoughts, fun for the Pirates. Get a real major league hitter, a guy that's going to slot into the top third of your lineup, probably lead your team in home runs.
Probably hit third.
Yeah, no, second or third. Suddenly be your best hitter. Like a good, also just signal to Pirates fans, like, hey, we are trying, we are attempting. Well, also at the same time, it's funny to figure out this one for the Rays. I understand that 1 year of Brandon Lowe likely isn't really that valuable in the grand scheme of things. Like, he's the best player here, but 1 year of him, like rentals are always going to be rentals in Major League Baseball. But just to come away with this, just with Jacob Melton, who some people love his potential. To me, he just seems like a very flawed player. But I guess they see something worthy of giving up. Again, Mason Montgomery, who's an exciting reliever. Jake Mangum, who kind of knows, is a defensive first outfielder. It's a very funny, like you said, like minutia, real nitty gritty type of trade.
Yeah, because the big name that everyone wants to talk about is Brandon Lowe, and we'll start there. Like, in terms of power hitting second baseman, in terms of offensive production, there's not going to be many second basemen that will give you the type of offensive output that Brandon Lowe will give you. 31 home runs last year, near 800 OPS, just a good hitter. Now, in the field, he's god-awful. He's terrible at second base, not really there for his glove. You want him to hit 30 home runs a year. And I guess the one, worrisome thing is just he's almost never healthy. He barely ever plays more than 100 games in a season. But when he does, he normally hits 30 home runs. So I like this. Again, the Pirates gave up, a lot in terms of Mike Burrows, but it's not a lot because this organization, it's crazy to say, has so much pitching. And for Burrows, who's like a back-end guy for them, it was kind of like when they trade away Johan Oviedo. Like, they got Jostinson Garcia, a little different because of the control and what he could end up being, but giving up Burrows to the Astros to be able to get Brandon Lowe and Mason Montgomery, who, by the way, crazy stuff on him, and they have tons of control. He still has options. And like you said, Mangum's a perfect fourth outfielder in baseball right now.
Oh, definitely is. Like, Mangum can do a lot of those things. Montgomery's a fun piece because he he could close for the Pirates this year as things
He
currently
could
stand.
be their best reliever.
Like if he irons out his command, because the stuff is as good as any left-handed reliever literally in all of baseball. And Burrows, it's about how much you want a back-end starter. And for the Astros, they wanted a back-end starter desperately. They've been linked to a lot of starting, like really back-end type starting pitchers this offseason. They were talking to the Mets about David Peterson. They seem to be involved in like that lower to mid-tier free agent pitchers, the Chris Bassett's, the Nick Martinez's. And Burrows has, I think, 5 or 6 years of control. Checking right now, he's not a free agent until... I mean, he has less than a fifth of a season of service time, so I think he just is going to be. He has 99 major league innings, and he was fine last year. Like he got a sinker slider that's very useful against right-handed batters. He has a changeup that he's comfortable mixing in against the lefties. Like he's not bad at all. But let me read you something about Brandon Lowe right now. A stat that's kind of shocked me.
Hit me.
OPS is by second baseman since a qualified second baseman since 2023. Ketel Marte.
Yep.
Jose Altuve.
Yep.
Brandon Lowe. Jazz Chisholm Jr., Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the premier offensive bats. And for the Pirates fans, you should be pumped. I know everybody in baseball is going to talk about how the Pirates don't spend money and that the ownership is terrible, and we know that.
It's true.
But you can still be excited for this team going into 2026. You have one of the best starting rotations, low-key, in baseball with all the exciting young arms that they have. You added a legitimate bat into a lineup that desperately needed Major League Baseball players in it. This is a really good move for them. I love what the Pirates are doing this offseason. Again, whether or not the offers that they've given to Kyle Schwarber and guys like that were real or not, this is real. They went out and got Brandon Lowe, and they are a much better team after this trade because of it.
Totally. Like let's envision a world right now where hopefully and maybe Connor Griffin's on this team. You know,
he should be, and it's starting to feel like he's gonna be maybe their opening day shortstop.
So then suddenly you have, I'm expecting somewhat of a Brian Reynolds bounce back, even though he'll be 31. I'm still confident that maybe one more little bounce back from Brian Reynolds. I'm not ready to quit yet.
It should be a 10% better than league average offensive player. Like I feel like you can pencil him in right there, and that's safe.
So then suddenly, if you have Reynolds, Brandon Lowe, Connor Griffin, Spencer Horwitz, and then you get anything from O'Neal Cruz, like this is suddenly now the best Pirates lineup of the last 4 years. Like it's
in a while, yeah.
And you still have 4 players in this lineup who are not major league players. Again, you still might have to deal with Jack Sawinski at bats. Pirates fans, I'm sorry about that.
Sawinski,
Nick York,
is
Nick
he
Gonzalez.
there still?
Yeah, he's still there. I think there was a re-signing situation, or
gross.
They tendered him a contract. And this rotation, I think that again, everyone's going to talk about Paul Skeens. Skeens is he's the best pitcher in baseball. It's Timmer Skubal. Mitch Keller, for a lot of the strange valuations we get for Mitch Keller online, just because I think Pirates fans want to trade him for the world, and other fans of other teams are like, I don't want to trade the world for that guy. He's a fine mid-rotation guy. Bubba Chandler's going to be great. Braxton Ashcraft last year was like one of the coolest like late season stories of starting pitcher like raising their stock. Like you got what?
Pirates have Marco Luciano?
They just signed him. They just picked him up. Yeah.
Oh, God.
He might be the opening day shortstop if they want to steal the year of control. Like Jared Jones is going to come back at some point this year. Your boy Anthony Rodriguez got another shot. Still only 25 years old. Like you traded for 9 catchers at the deadline. Like you got. I mean.
And I'll say this too. Like even to talk about the offense. Like you mentioned Endy. I think Endy should be the catcher. He should be given every opportunity because you can't. Henry Davis stinks, and Joey Bart was horrible last year after what maybe we thought was like a glimpse of hope. But like also at the same time, like, did you see what Jared Triolo did in the second half? I've been pumping this guy's tires all offseason where second half he was a plus hitter and the glove is phenomenal. Like he's just better than Key Brian Hayes, and Key Brian Hayes have been playing third base for this organization, which sounds crazy to say.
I was pumping Jared Triolo's tires for years, and you were giving me shit for it.
Yeah,
the guy's a ball player.
Because he was like a 450 OPS guy, and then he did like. When he started playing every single day, all of a sudden he started hitting, which was kind of cool. Like, again, I'm not going to try and convince you that this Pirates team is going to be very good. I'm not trying to convince you that they're going to win the National League Central, any of that. But this is a more competitive baseball team than you could have ever imagined going into the offseason.
As of right now, and there's still plenty of time left, and again, we're seeing the hints of possible aggression. Like, you can squint and tell yourself there's a 500 team. And if you're a 500 team and
100%.
things break right, you can make the playoffs. Like last year, the Mets and Reds were fighting over the last playoff spot, and it was 84 wins. I think the only time in the expanded playoffs that the last wildcard team had more than 85 wins was that crazy Mets, Braves, Diamondbacks, like 3-headed race where the Diamondbacks, I think, lost out with 86 or 87 wins. So
yeah.
You have to be only a few games over 500 to make the playoffs, how things stand right now. And then, like, you've seen the Tigers the last few years. Like, if you get into a playoff series with Paul Skeens, like, have fun.
Yeah, like, the Tigers lineup stinks. Like, it's awful. Like, it's gotten better over the last couple of years, but, like, still you look at it and you're like, okay, Riley Green, Torkelson, bounce back. That was huge. Kerry Carpenter. But you did look around the field at times, and you were like, these are the guys that are playing every single day. Or even when the Royals made the postseason. What the Pirates would be missing is that elite offensive player, and maybe that's just Connor Griffin, and I have a pretty good feeling it will be him. But that pitching staff is so good, and they've low-key put together like a chaos bullpen that's kind of fun as well.
No, yeah, definitely. And also just even to get like weirdly deeper into this trade, like getting Jake Mangum takes a little bit of pressure off Justin Sin Garcia, who
Big
still
time.
could probably use some more seasoning in AAA. Like he still has the options. He just turned 23. He's got good power, great defensive player, but big swing and miss in his game. So you'd maybe like to see if you can iron some of that out. And again, the hope is that you're not done. The hope is that you can figure out any kind of designated hitter option.
And maybe they swoop in for one of the Japanese guys that nobody's connected to right now.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, hard. Yeah, because then you could just maybe imagine making Murakami the DH of this team.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd
that
would
would
be very fun.
All of a sudden, you'd be like, wait a second. Can I squint my eyes and believe in the Pirates for a second?
I think that's kind of what we're doing. But again, it's a good day. It's a good moment for relative excitement, Pirates fans. Like you went for it. You got one of the best offensive second basemen in the league, while it is for 1 year, and you lost Mike Burrows, and you probably have a new Mike Burrows next year. Let's see if we can look at the Pirates pitching depth.
Pick who's going to be the next Mike Burrows.
I mean, I think honestly, like Thomas Harrington or Hunter Barco could be the next one.
Oh, easily could be those.
These guys are both good.
Even just looking further down, like Anthony Solomedo could also be like the Mike Burrows of next year. Antoine Kelly's another guy that people have liked some of the stuff that you've seen off of him. And then, not to mention, by the way, they still have one of the best pitching prospects in the minors that we're going to see next season. Seth Hernandez is ridiculous. The stuff on him is crazy. It's one of those things where for the Pirates, the asset that they gave up is not nearly the same value to them as it matters to the team that got him, which is the Houston Astros, because looking at that rotation now to change the conversation to them, their rotation is so bad. And looking at it, like right now, Jason Alexander, Ryan Weiss are the projected 4-5 in the Astros organization, according to Fangraphs and Roster Resource. And then you have Lance McCullers and Christian Javier behind them who are, or in front of them, I should say, not behind them, in front of them, who are injury prone. You're still concerned about these guys. Lance McCullers, if he gives you 50 innings next year, is that like the line?
And this is also when we did our ranking every roster as they currently stand before the offseason began. I think I had the Astros like 20 or 19.
You hated them. Yeah.
Because you look at this rotation, you really don't see a team with this starting five. And then even past that, you really want to look at like 6, 7, 8 starting pitchers to
They do
understand
have.
where a
I
team
do
can
like
be.
Eric Getty and Blue. You love Blue Ball. I like Ujoa.
No. I definitely do too, but you still they needed a lot more. They need the guys that you know could walk into this rotation and be passable starting pitchers. And
Yes.
now getting one of them like elevates their floor a lot. Like it's funny to think that just getting Mike Burrows really helps the Astros standing, but it kind of does. And it's funny to dump Jacob Melton. I think they have some buyer's remorse over the Jesus Sanchez trade deadline move.
Definitely.
I mean, he's still one more shot for Jesus Sanchez.
He's got one more. That's it.
One more shot. And I don't know if you were hip to Zach Cole at the end of the year, but the guy's a freak and a half.
Yeah, he's like just twitchy dude, right?
Yeah, so I think going into next year with those guys, along with Jake Myers, and who they could keep now, because I think they were shopping him for a starting pitcher. We never got the Jake Myers for David Peterson slot that we wanted so badly. And then Cam Smith, who I think I still am very high on, despite there being some definite questions about how he played last year. But he just barely played the minor leagues. Like, this is now a much more exciting team. You have the space to hopefully add another pitcher. You still don't know what's going on with Josh Hader, but for them to have done this by trading Jacob Melton, who's very extraneous, could never stick around with them, and a single A pitcher in Anderson Brito, who's got exciting stuff. Like it's a big win for them too.
Yeah, it's the one thing I keep going back to is I'm like, this is what the Rays wanted. There's got to be something more, right? I don't know. I can't really.
I don't think so.
Like, I understand Brandon Lowe doesn't have the most value, but like somehow for everything that the Rays got back, it feels underwhelming, but maybe they're just like, hey, Jacob Melton's going to be a controllable outfielder for 5 years, and when he starts to hit arbitration, we'll trade him again to another team that's going to want some outfield with control, and we'll get another young player. It just continues the Rays cycle. That has to be this, right?
And it's kind of the same thing we just talked about with Mike Burrows, where the Rays are like, we could do another Mason Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like, we'll trade for another Mason Montgomery.
That is true.
No one's even going to see us coming on that one. And the Rays bullpen is outrageously good.
Of course, yeah.
They made that great trade for Brian Baker at the deadline last year, who has tons of team control from the Orioles. Like, they still have Garrett Clevenger. They traded for Griffin Jacks as well. Edwin Uceta. Like this, even without Pete Fairbanks, who they were very quickly declined his option. This bullpen is nasty.
Yeah, and I'm looking at guys in their minors too. Remember, I was all over Evan Reifert last year.
Yeah.
I was talking about him. Like, there's a bunch of guys in that minor league system too for the Rays in terms of bullpen arms that are like so funky. Even just talk about weird left-handed relievers. I don't know how he's performed, but remember Keyshawn Askew? Remember when Mets fans freaked out about trading him? He's a funky left-handed reliever.
I think he actually performed pretty well. They also have Kevin Kelly, who has good stuff but hasn't caught on. Hunter Biggie, who got amazing stuff but got hit in the face last year on a horrible situation. Also, like, their upper minor starting pitchers are still great. Like, Ian Seymour's a funky lefty with a crazy changeup sinker. Joe Boyle is, we know Joe Boyle at this point.
Joe
He's got everything. Yeah, Brody Hopkins, they got in the Randy Rosarena trade a few years ago, who has crazy pitch specs in the minor leagues. This is the Rays maintaining the machine. And the prospect they got, Anderson Brito, classic Rays prospect, get explosive fastball, no command. Like, I'm sure they'll coax a couple secondaries and some better command out of him. Like, they kind of just got like a slightly worse version of Brody Hopkins back in this deal, who they're going to convert to one day being a successful starting pitcher, who then they'll trade for many more assets than they got in this literally rental dump.
Yeah, and like you said, they're desperate for outfielders right now. Like, their current outfield is Cedric Mullins, Chandler Simpson, Josh Lowe. All three of those guys were not good last year.
No, and like not even not good, bad. I think
there's a good chance like Josh Lowe is like a DFA candidate at some point because he was god awful, like shockingly bad for how good he once was.
But you got to keep giving Josh Lowe chances.
He has an option. Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
And I mean, he's 28. Like, I don't know if you want to use that option anymore. I mean, you want to give him a shot because who else is playing the outfield here? But like, Josh Lowe's at the point where it's like, every year it's a wrist, it's a hamstring, it's a quad, like it's an oblique. Just like,
and then when he played, he was horrible,
dude. Like, yoga, hydration, like figure out anything here to like make sure you can stay healthy. Like, they also picked up Jake Fraley, which is very Rays. Like, you're going to have a lot of Jake Fraley, Jacob Melton as outfield next year. Like, that's what the Rays do. It's not fun. It's probably exhausting to be a fan of them. Like, they also, I don't know if you saw this report last week, but they apparently made the competitive offer to Jorge Polanco with the idea of him playing first base for them too.
Interesting.
Which I thought would have been them preluding a Yandy Diaz trade because they're kind of stacked up in the corners.
Because then they would move Aranda to DH, I guess.
Probably something like that. Or that could have just been a precursor to them trying to trade Brandon Lowe anyway. It's just
True. Yeah.
They're always going to do these kinds of things. Like, that's just how they operate. They're going to win between 76 and 83 games next year, and like
they're somehow like the least most interesting team in this entire trade.
Because now, like, I feel like the Rays, I don't know, the fever pitch of how smart the Rays were crescendoed like 4 or 5 years ago when they're beating the Yankees like kind of year over year. And
kind of after the COVID World Series, it seems like it kind of fell off.
A few years after that, they were still very fun to keep track of. But now I think that most teams are very aware of how focused the Rays are in making sure their 40-man roster is clean. So I think a situation like this is how you can probably take a shot in a guy like Mason Montgomery, who the Rays are welcome to just kind of trade for probably a little bit, maybe less than he could be worth for another team, just because, one, they know they can create another one, like we said, and two, because the Rays do not like DFAing guys.
No.
They do not DFA players. My favorite Rays move ever was 2019. When the Rays traded Wilmer Font.
Yes, I knew it was going to be that.
Yeah, he had no stuff and no options to Brody Van Wagenen with the Mets, who had no idea what they were doing for cash considerations that afternoon. Because I remember that time I was really paying attention to the Major League Baseball job boards. They posted like a new analyst job on Fangraphs. I was like, that's what they're using the money for. This is a good organization right here. Like, that's sick. But that's just who they are, for better or worse. Like, maybe new ownership will eventually help them out there. But it's a Rays trade.
Yeah, he was traded for Neraldo Catalina, who, as you can imagine, is not playing professional baseball anymore. They were just like a warm body, anything.
But they got cash, and maybe the data architect they hired helped them create something. Maybe that guy would help them make the model to trade for Junior Caminero. Like,
it could be.
Like, could have been part of that analysis. Like, that's how the Rays value things as an organization.
There's no really Junior Caminero without Wilmer Font. Don't forget it.
No, but it's possible. It's just that was when I was like, damn, this team is moving different. I think that it's cool to have teams in baseball moving different. Like the Pirates right now, trying.
Yes, Pirates are trying more than they have in a very long time. And I like it. And don't let anybody tell you if you're a Pirates fan, oh, but if blah, 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 blah. Be happy, excited today. This is good stuff for you.
Yeah, again, like, even just think about Mason Montgomery. Like, let's close on Mason Montgomery.
Yeah, let's get gross.
Like this guy throws like 99 from the left side. Like he's got one of the best left-handed fastballs in baseball. If you can figure out any kind of command, I forgot the name of the guy the Pirates hired to be their new pitching coach this year, but I know he came from the Astros.
Yes,
and I know that him coming from the Astros, he previously worked with Brent Strom in the Astros system, and then Brent Strom just retired from the Pirates this year, so it seemed like that was like a one-to-one thing there. That's a nice. You should be excited about your pitching infrastructure to get a lot out of guys like Mason Montgomery and create your next Mike Burrows.
There's almost no way to ever find a lefty who throws 99 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider who strikes out 30% of the people he faces while walking 15%.
No, don't look at that part. And also, like, Pirates fans are going to love Jake Mangum. Jake Mangum plays hard, gets dirty, steals bags, makes contact. Like, he's not, like, good, but, like, he's... No, but, like, he's a fun baseball player to be a fan of. He is.
No, he's someone you like rooting for.
Yeah.
Every team that has Jake Mangum, like Jake Mangum's going to hang around Major League Baseball just because Elite plays so goddamn hard.
Like Jake Mangum is the Ken Griffey Jr.'s of Travis Jankowski's.
Yeah, or like Ben Gamel, like the same ilk.
But at least Gamel was like a power guy. You know what I mean?
He
like,
did have more pop. Yeah, I do like that.
I'm not looking for us not running into one. Like he reminds me of like the Jankowski mold.
Yeah,
the next
very
iteration of
similar.
one.
Yeah, good speed, good glove.
It's fun.
Slap the ball around for like a 270 average.
Good for the Pirates. Brandon Lowe, higher OPS than Jazz Chisholm Jr. over the last 3 years. Go home with that stat.
Go home with that. Jazz is so good, though.
That's great. These are some of the best second basemen in the league.
A lot of trades moving. A lot of players going all over the place. Didn't expect, honestly, to be talking about any of these guys today, but that's why the Windup's great. That's why you listen to us. We gave you 30 to 40 minutes about Shane Baz, Orioles prospects, Brandon Lowe, Mike Burrows, Jake Mangum. That's what we love doing over here, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you are subscribed to the Windup. If you like what you're seeing over here and want to see more of it, you can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
And I'm Giraffe Neck Mark. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.